I'm looking at you, my brother, and I say this affectionately. You might be one of the dumbest folks on the planet.
So I'm gonna give you guys a little bit of a disclaimer. This video is probably gonna get demonetized by YouTube primarily because of the contents of this video. And when that happens, YouTube doesn't push out the video to a larger audience because, well, it can't make money off of the video. So a way you could kind of counteract that is just by leaving a like on this video to push it to a larger audience so I don't get hit as badly in the algorithm. And on top of that, I think we've been doing a pretty good job covering the NBA offseason so far. So make sure you subscribe, turn on our notifications to help the channel grow. And if you think I talk way too much on YouTube, well, we condense these videos into 1-minute shorts and post them onto my Instagram page and on my brand new TikTok page, which is at TheFlightMike for both. Now that we get all that out of the way, cue the intro. Mic check 1 2 1 2. What's going on, everybody? Miles Bridges has had a pretty impressive career so far by any means. I mean, any player that gets drafted in the NBA draft lottery has the opportunity to play basketball for a living and is actually so freaking good that is up for a contract extension is a player that I would deem as successful. And ultimately, when you want to look at the on-court career of Miles Bridges, he took the ultimate gamble this past year. Because last year in the offseason, the Charlotte Hornets wanted to reward his progress as a player by giving him a 4-year, $60 million contract extension. And Miles Bridges felt so freaking good about his talent that he decided to reject that contract extension. And ultimately, that was one of the smartest things he could have done. I mean, at the time, assuming that he doesn't mess anything up off of the court, Miles Bridges went from averaging 12 points per game off of 50% from the field and shooting 40% from three. Yeah, his 3-point percentage dipped quite a bit this past year, but he averaged 20 points per game and shot 49% from the field and grabbed 7 boards to go with that. And Miles Bridges wasn't only crushing it on the court as LaMelo Ball's favorite lob threat. On top of that, he was actually dabbling into music as well. And for the most part, his music was very well received. It seemed like everything was going well for Miles Bridges. And then there was a series of questionable decisions that occurred that at first weren't so bad, but tonight got to a absolutely horrific point that could without a doubt ruin this man's life as a result of some poor decisions. Now, like I said before, a few weeks ago, we did make a video on one of his poor decisions, and it wasn't necessarily like a fatality to his career. The man decided to post a picture of himself holding a cup of a pink substance, some sort of pink liquid, which most of us assumed was lean, with a marijuana cigarette in his hand, which, look man, if you want to dabble in the devil's lettuce, by all means go for it. If you want to dabble in the pink stuff, then go for it. I'm not your dad. I'm not here to tell you what to do. I personally think that there are specific things that you should do your best to not have on social media. There's things that you want to keep to yourself, especially when you think of the fact that a lot of these basketball teams are marketing machines. Some people might prefer you to keep your substance usage off of the internet if you're making millions of dollars to play basketball, which I don't think is the worst thing. I mean, after all, you're getting millions of dollars to play basketball. You have a platform to grow your rap career. So I don't necessarily think it's the worst thing. And ultimately, while it was a questionable decision, it wasn't a decision that could ruin a career. He still was up for a pretty hefty contract extension. He was still considered to be one of the cornerstones for the Charlotte Hornets, and people still thought his rap lyrics are funny. I mean, in a song he even wrote, "I'm like a pizza, she can't have my cheese unless she gets to topping." The Hornets still intended on keeping Miles Bridges long term despite that decision, and even made a nice little tongue-in-cheek joke in regards to the incident, saying that it was pink lemonade. But here's the unfortunate part. This wasn't the only incident that occurred, and this new incident isn't necessarily as innocent as his other one or something that you could easily forgive. As a matter of fact, Miles Bridges was arrested for doing something horrific, and this is coming to us via TMZ. NBA star Miles Bridges was arrested for felony domestic violence in Los Angeles on Wednesday, TMZ Sports has learned. The 24-year-old forward, who most recently played for the Charlotte Hornets, turned himself in to a local jail regarding an alleged physical altercation that happened on Tuesday. Law enforcement sources tell us that a woman claims that she was in an argument with Bridges that turned physical. We're told that police were called to the scene, but Bridges was gone by the time cops arrived. We're told that the woman required medical attention. First of all, let's forget about bags. Let's forget about Miles Bridges' career. This is truly horrible. I mean, I don't think I've ever read a report like this where a woman was involved in a DV situation that was so bad that she required medical attention, which I'm assuming means she had to go to the hospital. Horrible, man. I mean, the fact that he would do such a thing makes him an absolutely horrific and despicable human being. I mean, I just want you to imagine that just for a split second before we continue giving you the report. Miles Bridges is truly a horrific human being. And he already turned himself in. He already knows what he caused. We have more information on this. The 6'7", 225-pound forward was arrested by LAPD after turning himself in Wednesday afternoon. His bail was set at $130,000 and he's since been released. Miles Bridges, who's also a rapper under the name RTBMB, spent his first 4 seasons with the Hornets, but is expected to be a top free agency target this offseason. Bridges was the 12th overall pick out of Michigan State in 2018, averaging 13 points per game and 5.6 rebounds a game over 4 seasons. He had the best season of his career last year, averaging 20.7 rebounds and 3.8 assists. They reached out to Miles Bridges' people for a comment, and so far, there's no word back. I wanted to again address that this act is a despicable act and he's a horrific human being for doing it. That aside, it truly causes me tremendous amounts of pain, not only to hear about the poor woman that is in the hospital as a result of Miles Bridges, but also when you just think of a young man that had the ultimate opportunity to live a truly awesome life and was already living a truly awesome life. This is a man that could have potentially made $173 million in free agency this year. And the chances of him landing that contract were very, very high. I mean, he's a restricted free agent. So if the Charlotte Hornets didn't offer that to him, some other team would. Now, given what he's done over the past month, if you're a young up-and-coming team, or if you're any team, would you want to give Miles Bridges that type of contract? I mean, don't get me wrong. I've seen teams with way worse morals than the Charlotte Hornets, giving contracts to players and really just completely ignoring what they're being accused of. But in this case, he literally turned himself in to the police, and it sounds like he admitted to doing what he did. I hope this story has a different spin on it. I hope this young man didn't completely ruin his life in the way that we are discussing. Let me know in the comment section down below what you guys think about all this, man, because truly it makes me sad to make videos like this. Aside from that, I'm your boy Mike, and I'm dropping our mic until our next upload.